2,000 Jews burned alive in Strasbourg. Tens of millions dead. Entire cities wiped out in months. Bodies thrown into pits, layer after layer, like lasagna. This was the Black Death. It began inside your own home. Fathers abandoned children. Neighbors locked doors, sealing homes as tombs. Morality collapsed. The strong looted the dying. Flagellants marched through towns, whipping their backs until blood poured. The legacy of the Black Death was not just death. It was the collapse of humanity itself. History isn't always what you think. Join Chrono Anatomy to uncover the hidden truths. You know, when we talk about the Black Death, we always hear the staggering numbers, right? Tens of millions dead. Entire cities losing half their people in just a few months. But to really, truly get what happened, to feel the sheer impact of it, we have to go beyond the statistics. We have to look into the hearts and minds of the people who actually lived through it. Because the real story here isn't about a disease. It's about what happens to people when their entire world comes crashing down around them. Yeah, the real damage, the deepest wound the plague left behind, wasn't just about the empty towns or the massive death toll. It was a complete crisis of society, a crisis of faith, and a crisis of our most basic human connections. It was a moment in history when every single thing that holds us together, family, community, compassion, just snapped under the pressure of absolute terror. And that's the story we're going to dive into. The story of that collapse. So where does a total collapse like that even begin? Well, it begins in the one place that's supposed to be safest. It begins at home. It starts with the most fundamental, the most primal bond we have as human beings, family. And this was the first and maybe the most shocking victim of the Black Death. Just listen to those words for a second. This isn't some historian looking back hundreds of years later. This is a real person, Agnolo di Tura, writing from Siena in 1348, living this absolute nightmare. The fear of getting sick became so powerful, so all-consuming, that it literally erased the love of a father for his son. And then you get to that last gut-wrenching line. He reveals that he was one of the few who didn't run. He stayed, and he buried his 5 children himself. Can you even imagine that? And this wasn't just happening in one town. The famous writer Giovanni Boccaccio saw the exact same horror unfolding in Florence. Look at the language he uses. Almost incredible. He's writing it down because he's seeing it with his own eyes, but he can barely process it himself. It goes against every instinct we have. The drive to care for your own child was just wiped out by the basic instinct to survive. Every person you loved, your own child, suddenly became a threat. The home wasn't a sanctuary anymore. It was a death trap. So, what happens when the family, the very bedrock of society, shatters? Well, the community can't possibly survive. That breakdown at the most personal level just radiated outwards, and all the pillars that held up medieval civilization began to crumble, and they crumbled fast. Think about all the institutions you rely on. They just disintegrated one after another. Doctors, well, they were powerless. They saw their own colleagues dying, and so the ones who could, they fled. Priests who were on the front lines trying to give comfort and last rites, they died in huge numbers. And when the authorities are either dead or in hiding, well, law and order completely vanished. Cities just fell into anarchy. The healthy would literally walk into the homes of the dead and just take whatever they wanted. There was no one to stop them. So, what happened if you were the one who got sick? The moment those telltale swellings, the buboes, appeared on your body, you were done. You were an outcast. Your neighbors and, as we've already seen, maybe even your own family, would literally board you up inside your own home. They might leave a little food and water outside the door, but nobody was coming in. Every house with a sick person inside became a tomb. People died completely and utterly alone, just consumed by fever and despair. And this brings us to something that was just so psychologically devastating for people at the time. You have to remember, this was a deeply religious society. A good Christian burial with all the proper rites was absolutely essential for your soul's journey to the afterlife. But the Black Death delivered one final, cruel insult. It took away all dignity from death itself. In any medieval city, the sound of a church bell tolling for someone who had died was just a constant part of life. But during the plague, the bells stopped ringing. And you have to ask why? It's because if they tolled for every single person who died, they would be ringing constantly, 24/7, an unending, maddening funeral march for an entire civilization. So instead, there was just silence. The dead passed without any acknowledgement, without any ceremony at all. The cemeteries were full in a matter of days. There weren't enough priests to perform the rites, not enough people to dig the graves. So a horrifying new solution was found. The bodies were just left in the streets until they could be collected and hauled to these giant pits dug outside the city walls. And to describe this scene, Boccaccio used a simile that is so shocking, so profane, that you never forget it. He said the bodies were thrown into these pits, layer after layer, with a thin sprinkling of dirt in between, just like cheese and macaroni in a lasagna. The reason that quote is so powerful and so jarring is because he takes this common, comforting domestic image of food and he uses it to describe the ultimate dehumanization. People were no longer people. They were just ingredients. This was it, the final indignity. Instead of a respectful funeral procession, you had these corpse collectors pushing carts through the eerily quiet streets, shouting a single phrase, "Bring out your dead." Human beings, people with names, with families, with lives and souls were reduced to nothing more than trash, collected from the curb to be thrown in a pit. Okay, so let's take stock. Your family has abandoned you. Your community has dissolved. Your faith seems powerless. Even the basic dignity of death is gone. What is left? What do you do when you are pushed to the absolute edge of human endurance? In the face of this completely incomprehensible horror, people scrambled for answers. And that scramble led them down two very different and very extreme paths. At the end of the day, the reactions really boiled down to this choice. One path was to look inward. The thinking was, if this plague is a punishment from God for our sins, then the only way to stop it is to punish ourselves, to appease God through these incredible acts of suffering and piety. The other path was to look outward. It was to say, no, this isn't God's fault. This is man's fault. It was to find a human scapegoat to blame for the nightmare. This absolute desperation gave birth to the flagellant movement, and it just exploded across Europe. You'd see these long processions of men marching from town to town, stripped to the waist. They would whip themselves and each other with these brutal leather scourges that had iron spikes woven into the tips until their backs were just a bloody, shredded mess. They truly believed that their suffering was a sacrifice, that they could take on the sins of the world and beg God for mercy. It was this terrifying public spectacle, born from a complete and total loss of hope in anything else. But while the Flagellants turned all that violence and pain inward on themselves, a far more sinister reaction was brewing. For a lot of people, the idea that this was just some random act of nature or some mysterious punishment from God, it was just too much to handle. It's a lot easier to face a horror if you can give it a human face, if you can find someone to blame. And so, a poisonous, horrific rumor started to spread like wildfire that Jewish communities were responsible, that they were deliberately poisoning the wells to kill Christians. Now, this was a monstrous lie, of course, but it offered a simple, easy answer to a terrifyingly complex question. The fact that Jewish people were dying from the plague at the exact same rate was completely ignored. Even when popes issued official decrees saying they were innocent and should be protected, it didn't matter. The hysteria was just too powerful. All that grief and fear had curdled into a murderous rage. And if you want to understand the true depth of this hatred, you have to look at the city of Strasbourg in 1349. Here is the part that is just absolutely chilling. The Black Death had not even reached the city yet. Let that sink in. The violence that was about to happen wasn't a reaction to people dying in their own streets. It was a preemptive strike, fueled entirely by rumor, paranoia, and centuries of built-up anti-Semitism. On Valentine's Day, 1349, the city's authorities rounded up the entire Jewish community of Strasbourg. 2,000 men, women, and children were marched to the city's cemetery, and there they were burned alive on a giant wooden platform. This wasn't a spontaneous riot. This was an organized massacre, a calculated extermination driven by pure, unadulterated fear and hatred. So you see, the true legacy of the Black Death isn't a number you can put in a history book. It's trauma. The people who survived had literally witnessed the end of their world. They had seen their families abandon them, their communities dissolve into anarchy, their faith fail them, and their neighbors turn into monsters. This isn't something you just get over. It left a permanent, deep scar on the mind of Europe for generations. And all of this leaves us with a really profound question, doesn't it? When every single trust has been broken, when the very foundations of your world have turned to dust, how do you even begin to rebuild a society from those ashes? The survivors had to figure that out. And in answering that question, they wouldn't just rebuild their old world. They would, without even knowing it, lay the groundwork for a brand new one.